Alrighty. Ha ha. Man, I'm gonna just tell you what. You see his hat on my head? What's up with that? That thing's acting woo-shiloo. I'm gonna have to do something about that. That thing messing with me. At any rate, I'm pretty certain. Let me see. Hell yeah. I'm pretty certain this cap is 1980s, mid to late 1980s. It's bad, boy. I likes it. Of course, Ford, that's the only truck there is. Car either. SUV either. But anyway, I want to talk some more, I think. In the last Sunday's video, I talked about the mystery of redemption. How God has placed everybody in this circle, in this category of disobedience. That's why Jesus came, because of the obedience of one. Because of the obedience of one, many are made righteous. So I want to just, I think I'm going to fall back. I'm going to get a little bit of Stanley Jones, bring him into the conversation. But just looking at, once again, I've talked about it before, but it merits more discussion. I want to talk about Jesus. Duh. But how that we must learn to not only interpret Scripture, but come to understand God by looking at Jesus, relationship with Jesus. What does it mean? Who is he? What has he done? What does it mean? I like to say look through the lens of Jesus, but it's not really that, because that just makes him another system or another template or something. It's actually looking to Jesus and understanding who he is. So we'll just go through this together, figure it out. I may read several different translations. Give me some more water. Some of my countertop leak infiltration system. Man, best water in the world. Listen to E. Stanley Jones writing. Well, it was published in 1925. But listen to what he says. In the context, he's introducing his book, Christ on the Indian Road. Oh, that matches my shirt on it. This book is 100 years old. It's in great shape. Man, you can tell it's old. But anyway, I like good books, especially old books. Nothing wrong with new ones. But he's talking about answering the objections people have to Christianity and India's rejection of Christianity until they realized they could embrace Christ without embracing Western Christianity. Well, that's what this book's about. But I want to read this quote to you. He says, I still believed in the Old Testament as being the highest revelation of God given to the world before Jesus' coming. I would inwardly feed upon it as Jesus did. But the issue was further on. A Jain lawyer, a brilliant writer against Christianity, arose in one of my meetings and asked me a long list of questions regarding things in the Old Testament. I replied, my brother, I think I can answer your questions, but I do not feel called on to do so. I defined Christianity as Christ. If you have any objections to make against him, I am ready to hear them and answer them if I can. The lawyer replied, who gave you this authority to make this distinction? I replied that my own master gave it to me, that I was not following a church council, but trying to follow him. And he himself has said, ye have heard it said of old time, but I say unto you. He quoting from Matthew's Gospel, Sermon on the Mount. So I was simply following his lead, for he made his own word final, even in Scripture. I was bringing the battle up from that incomplete stage of revelation to the final, to Jesus. Revelation was progressive, culminating in him. Why should I then pitch my battle at an imperfect stage when the perfect was here in him? My lawyer friend saw with dismay that a great many of his books written against Christianity had gone into ashes by my definition. They were beside the point. But the lawyer was not to blame for missing the point. Had we not often, by our writings and by our attitudes, led him to believe that we did make the issue there? So you see what he's saying is, there's lots of things in the Old Testament before the coming of Jesus. Let's see what this looks like. Before Jesus came, and that can be misunderstood or interpreted or understood a certain way. But Jesus has come, and he's the full revelation. He's the full revelation. Hey, y'all be blessed.